up a 20-man committee to do away with this vulgar, animalistic, nigger rock and roll bop.
The obscenity and vulgarity of the rock and roll music is obviously a means by which the white man and his children can be driven to the level with a nigger.
I think Chuck Berry is probably up way at the top of being considered the father of rock and roll, only because he has influenced so many people. I mean, the Beatles, I mean, everybody, yeah. But he started this whole thing.
He can go in anyway. He doesn't have to carry a band because everybody knows his music. You know, if you can't play Chuck Berry, you can't work in no club. You know, it's a lot of, you know, if you ever played, you had to know certain songs. If you didn't know that, they say, man, wait a minute, you're not a rock and roller.
There was an integration problem in this town and in this part of America. Pretty severe integration problem back then. But there was no integration in music. When you walked up to an old 54, 55 model Wurlitzer jukebox and it said blue suede shoes, Carl Perkins, white. Blueberry Hill, Fats Domino, black. No. There was no difference. Kids danced to Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Elvis, Carl. Chuck Berry said to me one time, he said, you know, Carl, we might be doing as much with our music as our leaders are in Washington to break down the barriers. He was right.
Integration, out of which will come a conglomerated balada.
We used to go motorcade when we did a lot of the tours. Like, you know, we would follow each other. All of a sudden, these troopers came from nowhere, and they stopped us, and it wasn't about, well, what did we do? It wasn't about that. It was like get in them cars and follow us. They took us way back up in the woods somewhere. It was like a house. Sitting back way back off the road up in the woods. And they filed us all out in the cars. They put the ladies in one room and they had these cells in the back. And they made the guys take off all their jewelry, give up the money, everything, and put them in the cells. And they had their little kangaroo coat and we had to pay to get out of there. We were lucky to get out of there, but maybe with so many of us. I remember those times well, and they really do happen.
music. If it was white music, I would say it's white music, but it's nothing but rhythm and blues. That R&B stands for real black. Same old blues, but what we did, we took boogie woogie that black people was playing all the time, and we put the blues and the boogie woogie together, rock and roll. See, rock and roll is nothing but rhythm and blues up tempo, and rhythm and blues up tempo is boogie woogie. It's just like boogie woogie. Let's Lucille.
This morning, Luke, she was not as tight.
My music broke down racial barriers. I would play places, and they would have white spectators. The white people would sit upstairs. The black people would be downstairs because I was a black band. And the white people would leap over the balcony and come down where we were, and the audience would start integrating because music has no racial boundary.
Richard is an institution, and the books is closed on that. All you can do is say, when you say Little Richard, think of rock and roll.
I was still a different complexion, you know, and it was hard for me because the white girls screaming over me, and they didn't like that. The system didn't like that. But I wasn't after the girls. I wasn't after the boys. I was there to entertain them and to give them some joy.
I didn't believe when everybody attacked it, saying that the purpose of rock and roll was to lower the white man to the level of the Negro, but it turned out it was true. It did, I think, raise us to the level of the Negro. It raised us into being more emotional, being more honest, being in touch with our feelings.
How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that dog is for sale.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Well, you ain't never gonna and you ain't no friend of mine.
But we was one of the main doors that came through. Chuck Berry was a main door himself. And we're not saying that Elvis wasn't the main door. I would never say that. Because Elvis started white people to really sing in rock and roll.
Yeah, they said you were high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, you ain't never gonna ever and you ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. Yeah, you ain't never gonna ever. You ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. Well, you ain't never gonna really. You ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound. You ain't no friend of mine.
Elvis Presley, I didn't miss a lick when I heard him. B.B. King, Roscoe Gordon, Joe Hill Lewis, Little Junior Parker, Bobby Blue Bland. Now listen to this. These are people that nobody would look at, let alone audition, let alone make records on them. Then I want to take it another generation because I knew there wasn't a heck of a lot of difference between me except skin color. And a lot of my soul brothers, you call them now, we didn't have that name for them then, you know. And then I thought, well, hey, as hard as it is to get a black record played, what can I do for black people as well as white folks? I said to myself, there's got to be a broadening of the base. What's all this segregation in music? Country music, pop music, race music. Music, man, music. I had the perception, it was kind of like being in a religious meeting, that you really are digging what that preacher is laying down, you know? I had that feeling. This sounds like to me that this is something that the nation and the world possibly should hear and know about.
After Presley was on, I received 700,000 pan letters. Not fan mail, pan mail.
There is no room in this city for the vulgar performances of Elvis Presley.
I watched him gyrate his legs and swivel his hips. And our parent-teachers group feels he should not be on television.
It was all on my shoulders. They put the burden on my shoulder. Like, Uncle Milty, we'll never watch you again. How dare you put a man, a young fellow like that, to gyrate and do those motions which are disgusting. What did I do? I called up Colonel Tom Parker. About 4 days later, after I got the mail, I said, Tom, you have a star on your hand.
A couple of weeks ago on the Milton Berle Show, our next guest, Elvis Presley, received a great deal of attention, which some people seem to interpret one way and some viewers interpret it another. We want to do a show the whole family can watch and enjoy, and we always do. And tonight we are presenting Elvis Presley in his, what you might call his first comeback. And at this time it gives me extreme pleasure to introduce the new Elvis Presley. Here he is.
Steve had to more or less book him on his show to keep up with competition. And come to find out, he didn't like Elvis very much at all, and was very critical.
I must say you look absolutely wonderful.
I think if he'd had to go back in and do it again, he would have never done it. He absolutely hated it, thought that was stupid, which it was, to how they told the tuxedo, and that Elvis just wasn't dressed, and it just didn't feel good for him.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Hold your guitar here.
It's not too often that I get to wear the suit and tails.
A lot of people just don't realize that this guy had a sense of humor. You know, he'd laugh and he'd joke. He gets laughing so hard sometimes he'd fall on the floor. People don't know that. They thought he was always serious, but he wasn't.
I got you a very cute little hound dog right here. And away you go.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never gonna rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine.
I always thought that Elvis heard Big Mama's record and rearranged it. That wasn't so. Elvis picked up his version from a lounge act, I'm told, that was playing in Vegas in 1956. And he copied their version word for word. In fact, they changed the words I'd written. I had never written, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. That's got nothing to do with the original song of Hound Dog for Big Mama is the story of a woman kicking a gigolo out of her house. The first chorus is, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, quit snooping around my dough. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. You told me you was high class, but I can see through that. And Daddy, I know you ain't no real cool cat. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. That's the original song.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time.
Black, white, red, I don't care. You got to be colorblind other than whatever moves you. In the case of Elvis Presley, believe me, he was colorblind. He didn't care what the color of the skin was. When he heard something he liked, he remembered that, and his version was, believe me, Elvis Presley.
You ain't no friend of mine, you ain't nothing but I.
This was a huge pivot point in America because it was the emotional revolution of young white America. They had never experienced music. This is the music that had been in the black communities for years and years and years, and now it was exposed by a white performer to the public at large. They still cut him off at the waist, so you couldn't see him shaking his hips.
Don't be cruel. You know I can be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least on his telephone. Don't be cruel.
The black music from the South and the white music from the South that we were able to create at Sun Records with Elvis Presley as a catalyst and those wonderful black artists that I had recorded previous to that. It changed the world and the concept of not only music, but how we think about our fellow man.
My mother was a bit of an Elvis fan. We saw him at Ed Sullivan. I remember sitting on the living room floor and being, feeling something come over me, and I had my mother say, I want to play the guitar.
Elvis Presley is like the big bang of rock and roll. It all came from there. And what you had in Elvis Presley is a very interesting moment, because really, to be pretentious about it for a minute, you had two cultures colliding there. You had a kind of white European culture and an African culture coming together. The rhythm, of black music and the melody, chord progressions of white music just all came together in that kind of spastic dance of his. That was the moment. That's it.
Elvis really didn't know how much impact he was having on people. See, Elvis had music, but he had a look that no kid before him had ever had. He didn't realize, I did, because I played some of the first shows with him. I seen teenagers tear their fingernails off and didn't miss them until the morning after. I saw them crying when they didn't know they was crying. Somebody'd shake them aside, say, what are you crying about? Oh, I love him, I love him. And all he would have to do is walk out there and say, you, and just curl that lip. It was magic. See, God intended for Elvis Presley to do what he allowed him to do on the face of this earth. That's why he made him so good looking. I used to get close to him. I tried to find a fault. I wanted to go out and tell the world he's got a big mole back here. No, he didn't have no mole back there. He was right, and he was my friend. Rock and roll is where it is today because the front door of the studio was opened, and that kid walked in here and moved an awesome mountain that set in the way for people like me. I never got anywhere.
It's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't step on my blue suede shoe. Well, you can do anything but lay off my blue suede shoe. Yeah, you can knock me down, spit in my face, slapping my name all over the place. Do anything you want to do, but honey, lay off of them shoes, don't you step on my blue suede shoe. Yeah, you can do anything but lay off my blue suede shoe. Well, blue suede shoe, yeah. Well, you can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe.
Elvis was first white boy to record in the studio. Then I was second. Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee hung around as a piano player here. I paid him $15 for playing on Matchbox one day when that $1 Million Quartet picture was made.
Can you imagine one little label, Memphis, Tennessee, having Elvis Presley, not forgetting all of the other great artists, and a Jerry Lee Lewis on it? Can you imagine that happening in Memphis, Tennessee? And you don't think we laid some music on the world?
We wasn't even sure where we could even get on a television show, much less do a song on Ed Sullivan show or Steve Allen show. Well, we got turned down by Ed Sullivan, but we got in to see Mr. Steve Allen, and he heard me do a whole lot of shaking going on. I just took my bubble gum out of my mouth and laid it up on the piano. And my funny book, I laid it down, I was reading, and I done a whole lot of, I was 20 years old. And I played a whole lot of shaking going on, and he was tapping with his pencil, like he's playing drums. I knew I had him. He said, I want you doing that song on my show Sunday night, word for word, just exactly the way you're doing it now.
Whole lot of shaking going on. Yeah, come on over, baby. We got chicken in the bar. Woo, honey, come on over. We got food by the horn. Oh, bacon now. Whole lot of shaking going on. Oh, shake, baby, shake. Shake, baby, shake. I did shake it, baby, shake. I did shake it, baby, shake it. I did shake, baby, shake. Come on over. Oh, lot of shaking going on. Come on over, baby. We got chicken in the bar. Woo, honey. Come on over, baby. Jerry's got the bull by the horn. Yeah, and I ain't baking. I got the whole lot of shaking going on. Well, I did shake, baby, shake. I did shake, baby, shake. Come on, come on. Shake, baby, shake it. Come on over. Yeah,
what some people call race music, you know, or black music. At a time when the country was very segregated, it was a white guy singing black music. It was an affirmation of the value of that music and of your freedom to do what you want. It was happening.
My Lord, all of my kisses, you don't know what you've been. I'm missing, oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. I thought the world could see that you were a miss for me. All of my life I've been waiting, and I there'll be no hesitating, no boy. When you're with me, oh boy, I thought the world could see that you were a miss for me. Stars appear and the shadows are falling. You can hear my heart a-calling. A little bit of loving makes everything right. I'm gonna see my baby tonight. All of my love, all of my kissing. You don't know what you've been missing, no boy. When you're with me, oh boy, I thought the world could see that you were a miss for me. Oh!
When the Crickets came along, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, it was so shocking that you couldn't help kind of sitting up and thinking, God, what is that, you know? So that's where I got excited hearing this stuff, which sounded very raw and very adventurous and very much spontaneous and from the heart, as opposed to this other stuff, which to me as a kid sounded like old people's music. And the shadows are falling. You can hear my heart a-calling. A little bit of loving makes everything right. I'm gonna see my baby tonight. All of my love, all of my kissing.
We did wind up working with Buddy and the Crickets, and I'd heard of them, and of course, and we met them, and they were from Texas, and Phil and I were from Nashville. And it was so funny how the difference from the Texas to the Nashville things, but we all loved rock and roll, we all loved Bo Diddley, we all loved, all this music, and it was camaraderie from the beginning. They became very, very close, dear friends. And Buddy was a musical genius. He had a great gift.
You can hear my heart calling, a little bit of loving makes everything right. I'm gonna see my baby tonight. All of my love, all of my kissing. You don't know what you've ever missing, oh boy. When you're with me, oh boy, the world can say that you were missing for me.
It's our feeling here in Jersey City that this rock and roll rhythm is filled with dynamite, and we don't want the dynamite to go off in the Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City.
What do you think of the mayor of Jersey City doing? I think he's a square, man. He don't know what's happening, that's all. Because rock and roll is cool, Yeah, I see. I think that mayor must have been nowhere because rock and roll is cool, Daddy, and you know it. Rock and roll is the most, and if they stop that, they ain't gonna have no more music.
My department made a very thorough investigation of these so-called programs. We had telephone conversations and correspondence with various municipalities, included among these being Hartford, Connecticut, Orange, New Jersey, Asbury Park, and the city of Hoboken. We find that these programs are not for the good of the community, and that's why I ordered them banned.
Body music. Not only was it a way for the Afro-American to speak his mind, but the general public, and the white man in particular, was very frightened of this because of all the old myths about black sexuality and the fear of the integration of the races. At the time in the 50s, most parents didn't want their children, and this is mostly a white frame of mind, influenced by black music. It was very frightening to them. And when guys like Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley got involved in it, it got even scarier because they figured, okay, well, if only black people were doing it, then I can somehow separate it. But when Elvis showed up on Ed Sullivan and the kids who were home were watching it over the TV dinners just after, Mickey Mouse Club, the parents realized that music was a very, very powerful tool, and they also realized that this would be something that most kids would absorb into their own culture. Scared the hell out of them.
But I tell you, I don't want to even be around no more good niggas. I'm with them good Negroes. That's what they call Rodriguez, a good Negro. I want to be with the bad niggas, because I know what's happening with the bad niggas. That's where I want to be. I want to be with the niggas.
And the FBI and the Army to force us white people here in St. Augustine and other parts of the nation to mix up with niggers, but if he sends troops in here and puts a bayonet behind every one of us, we still will not mix up with a bunch of black savages.
Well, they thought rock and roll was gonna, destroy everything. Rock and roll was hated for the first 5 years of its life. It's so funny. Until the 60s came along and the baby boomers, rock and roll was having a real struggle. They didn't like it. They thought people didn't like it. Especially the press, especially the media. They hated it.
I think I'm the one bye-bye love, bye-bye sweet caress, hello happiness, I feel like I could die, bye-bye my love, goodbye, there goes my baby with someone new, she sure looks happy, out of her and blue, she was my baby, she said then goodbye to your man, that might have been.
When I graduated high school in '55, we immediately got in the car the next day and came to Nashville and got a place to live. And I went out to Wesley Rose's, and he got us an audition with Archie Blyer of Cadence. And Archie came down to Nashville to do the sessions. Him and Boudleaux sang a little bit of this song to us. Phil and I, this was our chance. We were looking, to make this record. And so we weren't going to say no. we liked the song anyway.
And the Everly Brothers came out of this nightclub that they'd been at until 2:30 in the morning. Instead of like shining us on and just signing an autograph and then going into the hotel, they took time at 2:30 in the morning in a rainstorm to talk to Alan and I and listen to what we were doing. Yeah, we do some of your songs. Yeah, well, we're little musicians. We sing and play and stuff. And they were very, very kind to us. And it affected me so much, I began to realize exactly how important contact with your idol is.
Bye-bye, my love, bye-bye, bye-bye, my love, bye.
fact, this rock and roll music seems to be under an awful heavy attack from all over the country. There's been riots, it's been banned in certain parts of this country and abroad. You know of any reason for that?
Well, as far as I know, music make people happy. I know it make me happy.
You wouldn't blame it on rock and roll?
No, indeed.
Phil and I met Roy Orbison up in Indiana at a show. And after the show downstairs in the basement, we said, Roy, you got a song for Phil and I? He did bring in Only the Lonely. And I remember him saying it, or doing the demo to me with the doo-wah-wahs in the background and everything. And I said, Roy, you should cut that yourself. That's what got him off the ground.
Only the lonely know the way I feel tonight. Only the lonely know this feeling ain't right. There goes my baby. There goes my heart. They're gone forever, so far apart, but only the lonely know why I cry.
Roy's music was the ultimate outsider. He had a tremendous physical frailty, ethereal, otherworldly. His face and the way he stood at the mic and didn't move and his eyes hidden. They just had the tremendously dark music. Like I said, I used to turn my lights out, and sit in my room, put his records on. It was so purely about just the way his voice sounded, that pure spirit voice that came out of him.
All the heartaches I've been through.
I took a shot at it on some of my records, and I didn't get there.
No, I cry and cry for you. Maybe tomorrow a new romance, no more sorrow, but that's the chance you gotta take. If you're lonely, heartbreak, only the lonely.
In the mid-'50s, when I moved to Boston, I had seen that hip, young, white kids in the big cities were into some black music, R&B music at the time. And so I started playing this music, and there was an anti-rock and roll feeling in the city, if such a thing could happen, but truly the police, the church, the city governments had a great reluctance to allow rock and roll to appear in dances and on the radio. Because what Presley did and what Little Richard did is, for the first time ever, there was a division in music. That what the parent listened to, the kid didn't necessarily listen to. And we were selling records like we could not believe.
Kids liked a certain kind of music, and for the most part, their parents didn't. They had their own clothes, they liked their style, and their parents didn't. Nothing ever changes. The same thing goes on today as went on yesterday. They had their own thing.
Here is one song that will be in the top 10. Where? I can't tell you. It's Danny and the Juniors at the Hop.
Well, you can rock it, you can roll it, do the stop and even stroll it at the hop.
We directed the whole thing toward kids, but 51% of the audience was over 18. Older people love to watch younger kids, so we got them both.
You can rock it, you can roll it, do the stop and even stroll it at the hop. you newt your lips when you're chicken at the hop. Do the dance sensations that are sweeping the nation at the hop. Let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Oh baby, let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop. Well, you can swing it, you can groove it, you can really start to move it at the hop. Where the jockey is the smoothest and the music is the coolest at the hop. All the cats and the chicks can get their kicks at the hop. Let's go!
Many teenagers are as concerned as their parents with the public's conception of today's youth. These students are portraying what we consider bad taste in school attire and behavior. This student is wearing an ankle bracelet, dungarees, and dropped earrings. This student is wearing an extremely tight skirt and tight sweater. Open shirt, black jacket, dungarees are mentioned in the code as not proper school attire. This group is our ideal of the proper school attire and social behaviors of the Hicksville Junior High students.
Also during that time, because disc jockeys became so popular, along came payola. And payola was an integral part of record promotion during those years.
Each and every disc jockey in this country receives anywhere from 150 to 200 records a week. It's impossible physically to listen to each and every record. Record manufacturers naturally are sensitive to whether or not the jockeys in the important markets are listening, at least listening to their records. This is what the remuneration was for.
I know many people are going to say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, we're investigating it because it has occurred over the airwaves. And these are the property of the American people.
It's common knowledge that some of these politicians have this money contributed. And this is, in my mind, no more of a payola than a disc jockey receiving a gift because he's been nice to somebody.
We never knew what was on the books. It was very uncommon for us to walk in and say, show me your books. We were afraid to, maybe, because in that area it was thumbs down if you mess up. So you wouldn't record anymore.
We were teenagers. We didn't have any sense of responsibility in the business sense. All we wanted to do was get out there on that stage, get in front of that mic and start singing our song and try to get us a girl for the night, That was it, man. That was it. Business, what kind of business? We don't know anything about business. Most of us didn't even finish high school.
So the hell with what people say, I want my money, and I want it as fast as I can get it. It's a shame if I get it now, I'm 65 years old, I can't have the fun I wanted. But I still want what is due me and the pioneers of yesteryear.
We didn't know anything about publishing, copyrights and all that. They kept that hidden from us, But I don't feel bad about it, because what goes around comes around.
We came to a mutual dissolvement of the contract, WNEW and myself.
What about the payola charges?
What payola charges?
Well, that are rife in the industry right now. Have you ever taken payola?
No, I have not.
It was a matter of your personal integrity, I think you said?
Correct.
When you're on in New York at night in the winter, there's mystery, there's romance, there's something, there's danger in the air. And that's what Alan Freed projected. And the combination of this revulsion against the rock and roll shows and the payola thing got him busted out of New York. He just was totally disheartened, dispirited, and died shortly thereafter.
I'd love to answer all your questions, fellas. I'd like to be nice, but my attorney doesn't want me to say a thing. So I'm trying my best. I just can't say. I'm under subpoena here.
Whether it was the payola, whether it was radio stations afraid of it, it dropped off. Like rock and roll went into a coma almost, with very few exceptions. But what most people don't understand is that all those hit records that Little Richard made, and Jerry Lee Lewis made, and Roy Orbison, all happened within about 2 or 3 years, and it was over.
I didn't know anything about it, but my God Almighty, God, the wonderful Savior, the God that died out on Calvary, the God that spilled his blood for me, he was willing to save me.
I was very sad when I heard the news on the radio that Little Richard had given up
his singing career and thrown all of his diamonds in the river, and no one would tell us what river. And he was going into the ministry.
Help me. His power was available. I said, oh, take me to God, but God that died for Little Richard. I went back and
maybe that change preserved him to be as great as he is today.
An entertainer is really a force to be reckoned with socially, right? So let's put him in the Army. Calm this boy down. Chuck is in jail.
Chuck went through a lot of things like white girls, taking girls across the border. In that era, if you were busted behind things like that, it was thumbs down.
A little trouble at the border, you know. Conveniently, Buddy went down.
I guess I was probably the last one to talk to Buddy, because I said, Buddy, I got a registered letter to the post office my mother sent to Fargo. Would you pick it up for me? And he said, yeah. He said, I need some identification. Let me have your driver's license. So I said, here, take my wallet. So he just stuck my wallet in his pocket, you know. So when the plane was found the next morning, they found 4 bodies and 5 identifications.
Stars Richie Valens, J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson, and Buddy Holly died today with their pilot in the crash of a chartered plane. Following an appearance before 1,000 fans at Clear Lake last night, they chartered a plane at the Mason City Airport.
It's a sad thing because I think he would have gone on to be a big influence in music, you know, which he was already. But it's a sad thing. Phil went to Lubbock. I couldn't go. I couldn't bring myself to go. I think I went and stayed in a room for a while.
Jerry Lee, oops, she's 14.
Well, the papers reported that you were greeted with silence over there and with catcalls from the audience. Is that right?
Well, I can't agree with them there, sir. Our audience was very nice and very good.
Mm-hmm. Were you there, Mrs. Lewis?
I was there, but I wasn't at the shows.
Oh, you weren't at the shows? Oh, did you notice anything like that sort of reception?
No, it was a very good reception, I thought.
When were you married?
Pardon?
When were you married?
Well, we leave our personal questions out of this, sir.
All right, well, good luck.
They're all gone. That is my theory on that early period there. Was it just suddenly like got too wild, calmed down, and taken over by businessmen?
Teen idols were always on the defensive because of the image makers and making these people into something they really weren't. And were basically thrust upon the young girls of the world as being an alternate or substitute boyfriend. Some people liked that, some people didn't like it at all.
Well, I was part of that teen idol scene. Fabian, Frankie Avalon, Ricky Nelson, Paul Anka, myself.
I had no plans to ever be in show business ever. Because of an illness of my father, I met a guy on my front doorstep. My father was being taken out in an ambulance. This guy had a good friend that lived next door. He was in the record business. Certain guys of a certain look were making it during that period. He asked me if I'd be interested. I told him no. And frankly, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But then I found out that my father couldn't work. And I was the oldest of two. I had 2 other brothers and my mom. And I asked him if I could possibly make some money. All of a sudden, I was the head of the household. And he said, I think so. And I loved rock and roll. And that's how it started for me.
Howie Greenfield knocked on my door. October the 11th, 1952. I was 13 and he was 16. He was a young poet. And he said, do you want to write a song? I said, I wouldn't have the foggiest notion how to write a song. I'm going to be a concert pianist. And he convinced me that day. And we wrote a song a day for the next 52 weeks. It was a Neil Sedaka sound, not bubblegum. I think the songs were a little more sophisticated.
the cornerstone of pop music, Alden Music, which was Al Nevins and Don Kirshner's company, was situated at 1650 Broadway. And there, Howie Greenfield and Neil Sedaka, Carole King and Jerry Goffin, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, people that were writing all the top 10 songs were in that building, in those cubicles at Alden Music. This was the most exciting place to be because this was where it was all happening in the late 50s and early 60s.
Songwriters, for the most part, were given an assignment. Go into your garret and write a hit. Crank it out. Write it for this man or this woman or this group. It was a manufacturing process, and some of the best lyrics and some of the most reflective lyrics came out of that period.
I remember the first time I walked into, supposedly called the Brill Building. It was 1650 Broadway. Al Nevins and Don Kirshner had just opened the office, and when we knocked at the door, they said, "I'm sorry, we're in conference. Come back an hour later." I think the conference was about how they were going to pay their rent. And there was little cubicles. We all had pianos. We were all in competition with each other. And you could actually hear in the next room some of the sounds coming through. So all of the songs started to sound alike. Will You Love Me Tomorrow sounded a little like Locomotion, sounded a little like Happy Birthday, Sweet 16. And at the end of the day, we would all go into Al's piano. He had a red piano. And we would play the songs that we finished that day. And we were in competition with each other. Whoever had the best song would get a Righteous Brothers record.
We went up to the Brill Building, and it was like, this was, again, a couple of guys from Orange County. I mean, we're dumb and stupid and young, and we want to have a beer once in a while. I mean, but that was an interesting deal to go into that building, and these were cubby holes. I mean, all those little cubby holes back with Neil Sedaka and Carole King and Barry and Cynthia, and we shook hands with a few of them, met them a few times, and it was like, how are they doing this? Because they're just writing hit after hit after hit.
So don't let us slip away.
Love and Feeling, but you have to understand, before it was released, we didn't think there was a chance in hell that was going to be a hit record. It was way too long. It was like a four-minute record.
Even the producer, Jack Good, wouldn't allow us to do it. He thought it was too slow for.
He didn't think it was a hit either.
He didn't think. He finally let us do it when it reached number 4 in the nation. He finally, remember that? He finally let us.
Says, yeah, guys, I think it's going to be a hit for you. Today, to find a hit song or a song that sounds like it's a hit that you want to go record is really, really, really very tough to do. And I guess Spector turned us on to the Brill building.
His talent number one, best of any producer I've ever met. More imagination. He's a great songwriter. He's a great arranger. Great engineer, great producer. He knows exactly what he wants, and he doesn't stop until he gets it. Never compromises, never. He totally dominated the artist, and with a very, very strong attitude. It had to be his way or there was no way. But like I say, this is what it may have to take. It's I don't know how close genius and eccentric go together, and I feel that Philip was, and I can't say whether he still is, because the business has changed so drastically. But Philip was a music genius.
Create things. We had to wear our hair like most girls would wear 3 feet. We had to wear 10 feet, and we had to exaggerate everything. And we wore the slits in our dresses because we danced, and we couldn't dance unless we had the slits. So we created all that stuff, the eyeliner. We had to be different.
On the other hand, there were lots of other things going on, and that's always been the pattern of American music. There's a spawning ground, and it does like a lap dissolve all over the country. I've seen that go on for 48 years, and it keeps coming like waves. And Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller came along. They did all kinds of things.
Lester Sill and myself and Mike Stoller started a little record company in L.A.
Very underfinanced.
Called Spark Records.
The guys at Atlantic Records had heard our stuff.
They got a hold of us and they said, look, you're not selling any meaningful amount of records.
They convinced us to make records for them that they could sell. The first big success we had was Searchin' and Youngblood.
I've been searching.
There were 2 Jewish kids that knew my culture better than most blacks knew that culture. And they amazed me. I would look at them like, who are you guys, man? How do you know how to write this kind of stuff? And it's true of what you're writing about. But it so happened they knew it, and it was correct and right on time.
We used to live a semi-black existence.
In fact, we thought of ourselves as black. We were mistaken, but that's what we wanted to be. We aspired to be black and to be able to make the music that was black and the poetry that comes from blues music.
We had black girlfriends. We used to constantly be in totally black nightclubs and dance halls. And we were treated very courteously. I mean, sometimes people were amused, that we might have been the only white faces in the joint that night, but no one was ever rude or aggressive or anything.
Doo-wop is the music that was started because there was no instruments. So the background singers had to do all the work. And that's why the bass singer would do boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. See, I was a bass singer too. And I used to walk up to, let's say, from 119th Street to 129th Street with the group, the 4Bs. And we would actually have a competition with the group, whoever was in that block. And all you have to do is stand there and start singing and gather the crowd, and the others would come around. And you just actually have like a little duel between you and the group that's actually in that neighborhood. And it was like one of those fighting things without gloves.
But I'm like the northwest mountain. You know I'll bring her. Gonna find her. Gonna find her. Gonna find her.
I had a session to do with Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller. And it was the Spanish Harlem Date, matter of fact. And they asked me at the end of that session, so you have any other tunes that you've written? I said, yeah, I have this one that I showed to the Drifters. They don't want it. Yeah. So I showed him a little bit on the piano how it went. And he said, it's not bad. So he called all the musicians back in, and we did it right then and there.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon
is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
I wrote Stand By Me for the Drifters, even though I had had an argument with George Treadwell, the Drifters manager, and he had threw me out of the group. That's okay. And I was still friendly with the guys. And then they set up a meeting downtown for me to go down and for them to sing the song for George Treadwell. So we all got together and we went downtown, and the guys stood up there and they did Stand By Me. Really great, sounded good. And after it was all done, he looked at me and says, it's not a bad song, but we don't need it. So I took it and tucked it under my arm, and I left the office.
Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me.
If there was anything that people heard in Stand By Me, it was the sadness that I was doing it and not the Drifters. I had no intentions of ever singing that song. Not one. Not from the first time I put the first word down did I say, this is a song I'd love to do. Never had I ever even thought of singing Stand By Me. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had a little bit of time left over, the song would never have been born.
Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand.
We fell in love with black music, which is a product of black culture. And we started imitating it. And we made a career out of it. And then after us, a lot of other young people came along and started imitating it, and imitating the singers, and making careers out of it. And before you know it, the whole world is playing aspects of this music.
But it does represent some kind of change in our standards. What has happened to our concepts of beauty and decency and morality?
The funny part about it was somebody once said to me, "What was the most significant rock and roll record of all time?" And I said, "It's easy, it was The Twist." They said, "The Twist?" What redeeming qualities did the twist have? I said it was the first time in musical history that all generations could freely admit that they liked rock and roll music.
November 11, 1958, I wrote a song called Twist. I rewrote it 3 or 4 times before it came out. See, the first people that had a shot at Twist were BJ Records. When I first took it to them, they stuck it in the box. They didn't like it. I rewrote the lyrics, changed my groove and everything, because I knew just the lyrics, Twist had to be a hit, just the lyric.
I saw a pair of black kids in the studio at American Bandstand doing this strange-looking thing. I said, what is it? They said, it's the Twist. I said, well, Hank Ballard did that about a year ago. They said, yeah, but there isn't anything to dance to it now, so we improvised. So I called Bernie Lowe, who owned Cameo Records. I said, Bernie, there's a wonderful opportunity out there. Kids need a dance record for a dance called The Twist. Get me one. You remember the Ballard song? He said, do it. Turn it sideways. Write a new one. He sent me back a record with Chubby Checker on it that had 2 sides. He liked the other side. I don't even remember what it was. And I said, no, I need the twist. He said, well, we couldn't change it enough, so we just did it again.
This is a pretty frightening thing. It's sweeping the country all over the place. Hottest dance sensation in the last 4 years, a thing called the twist. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Chubby Checker.
Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Take me by my little hand and go like this.
It was doing hips, and that was nasty in 1959, 1960. They don't do things like that. I mean, we just got over the jitterbug. We just got over Elvis Presley doing gyrating. We just got over kids going crazy, dancing Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, all Rudy. I mean, now we got this.
When I first heard about Chubby Checker, I thought it was me. You know, I'm down in Miami taking me a swim. I heard this Twist record blasting across white radio. I said, oh man, at last I'm getting some white airplay. Yeah, I'm gonna be a superstar. The disc jockey said, Chubby Checker.
The regulars of the peppermint, the twist is not new. But then society discovered it, and almost overnight, the Rolls Royce set began to mingle with the motorcycle set. The visitors to the Peppermint Lounge now include such notables as Mrs. Jean Smith, a sister of the President of the United States, and the United States Senator, Jacob Javits. And sometimes even high social standing can't get you in. As many as 1,000 customers are turned away every night.
You should see my little sis. You should see my little sis. She really knows how to rock. She knows how to twist.
It really is the in thing to do. What would be some of the out things to do? Well, I guess the only comment I could make on that is not to do it would be out. I mean, if you don't do it, you're just considered out. I don't know of anyone that doesn't do it at the moment.
You're knocking yourself out, having a wonderful time, and you're not thinking of sex.
What are you thinking of?
You're thinking of green fields, blossoms, Venice, a Persian garden. You're thinking of anything in the whole world but sex.
Soul, gospel, fusion, jazz, hard, whatever, are all, they're shards of this large wellspring of black music, which is a product of black culture. The whole world is imitating these sounds. I find that very interesting.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old time you use it. It's gotta be rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me. If you wanna dance with me. I have no kick against modern jazz. Unless they try to play it too darn fast. And change the beauty of the melody. Until it sounds just like a symphony. That's why I go for that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old time you use it. It's got play a tango, and in the mood to dig a mambo. It's way too early for the Congo, so keep a rocking that piano.